Welcome to the Sportswire Spotlight. I'm Will Kaderli. Joining me, as always, Dylan Garner. Dylan, great to be with you once again, as this week we're bringing you the podcast to you from Godwin High School. And Dylan, we're going to have a couple of guests here in just a few minutes to talk competition cheerleading, because believe it or not, earlier this fall, Mills Godwin, regional champs.
Regional champs, absolutely.
Huge year for them, and actually Freeman, their competition, was runner-up.
There you go. I always got to support my Mavericks, but, congrats to Godwin for coming out on top this time. But I think it was a good I really wanted to have this talk about cheerleading, because I feel like it's one of those sports that we might not get to as many dealers for X, Y, and Z reason, right? Either,
Sure.
Publicly or in our own space. But, it was really, cool to be able to be here today to chat about that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, honestly, it's you go to football and you go to basketball, and they're part of the ambiance.
Yeah.
But they've got their own competition team. They've got a sideline team, and we'll delve into that when we say hello to Chloe Hubbard and Melissa Ellyson, head coach. Chloe Hubbard is the captain of the competition team, and she also participates in the sideline team as well. Speaking of sidelines, speaking of cheer on, football teams, obviously the biggest story in sports here in Henrico was the state championship matchup. Everybody had been waiting for since the season began, and actually just before Highland Springs moved up to Class 6, and that was Highland Springs and Freedom. Freedom was defending Class 6 champion. Highland Springs defending Class 5 champion. Freedom now on a 28-game win streak.
Wow.
And the two clashed head-to-head. VHSL actually changed the bracket to make it where those two, if they
could
met,
line up.
Yeah, could meet up in the final, which, hey, if you went to Scott Stadium at UVA and watched the game, I can see why. There were a lot of eyeballs on that game, and for good reason.
I was going to say, I think they got everything they could have asked for out of that game. That sounded really exciting.
What a game. For the first time in a long time, and I've only maybe seen it once or twice in 16 years, Freedom looked faster.
Yeah.
I don't see many teams that look faster than Highland Springs. And looks can be deceiving, but sometimes speed kills. And early in the game, it's ironic. There was only one game we could compare Freedom to. And that was very early in the season. They faced Varina. They went to Varina, and Varina fell behind 20-0, came roaring back, lost by 8, lost one possession game. State championship. It's like they got used to the speed. It was weird. State championship game, no different, except Highland Springs fell behind 28-0.
28-0. Wow.
They lost 42-34.
That's.
They literally, it looked like it should have been a rout. Highland Springs couldn't run the football. Freedom could.
A couple turnovers early, right? At
yeah,
least.
Christian Martin threw a pass he never does. He should have taken a sack or tried to throw it away. I guess take a sack because he didn't have time. An interception that gave him a 2-score lead, and things snowballed. But with just a few minutes left in the third quarter, what changed it, this feels like a year ago. We were talking game breakers with Lauren Johnson on this same podcast. It was their special teams that got Highland Springs back in the game, gave them a chance. They had the kick return from the magician, Jakiri Henley, and then later they blocked a punt, which led to a touchdown. And before you knew it, a 28-point lead was an 8-point lead, which, of course, is just a touchdown, 2-point conversion. And if you watch the highlights on Sportswire, it literally was – it felt like if the game was 5 minutes longer, the Springers would have found a way.
They were just running against that clock. And, you know, that's what a 4-touchdown hole will do. But, I think that kind of score is a testament to how talented that team was. Championship, no championship, right? It takes to be punched in the mouth, basically, right, at the start of the game against the best team in the state that you have faced so far, and to make a real run at them where, one more thing breaks your way maybe, and you're either tied with them or winning that game.
Right.
It's a real testament to Coach, and Christian and, all his other kids, that, how talented and, how motivated they are. So, I mean, I'm glad the game was as competitive as it was after such a, like I said, I was following along online. I was like, wow, like this is a lot. We expected it to be very close. I think we thought it was basically a coin flip, even if Freedom, we knew how good they were. And it kind of ended up being that way.
Sure.
But I think the roller coaster of it was not what you would have expected.
Yeah, I think Freedom for a minute thought, we're going to roll through this. Highland Springs like, no. I love the post-game comments by Coach Lauren Johnson. He said, nobody who wears black and gold ever quits. Yeah. And there was no quit there. And Freedom's fortunate they escaped with the championship. Congratulations to them. Yeah. They earned it. Absolutely. Anytime you beat Highland Springs, you absolutely earn it. And just to put a ribbon on this, still, I know the Springer standards are championship or bust, but they won 13 games. They went 13-2. Their 2 losses were both to this year's state champions. Maury early in the year at ODU, neutral field kind of, and Freedom. So that's it. I mean, those were your 2 losses. If your losses are going to be to state champions, I guess they went to Florida and won a game against Miramar. So
you definitely don't have to debate that standard. That standard is just at the highest level possible, and it might not result in a ring this year, but I mean, I think the Highland Springs way recently has been, even when there's a setback, that structure and that kind of mindset is in place where it's not over.
Right. And
there's more to come.
They'll be back, no question. They're loaded. They'll bring back quite a lot of talent next year.
Really fun run from them.
I do want to bring up, I don't know if it's a jinx or on our part or if it's a good thing. I'm not sure how to put this, but our last Sportswire Spotlight was at Douglas Freeman High School. And just before we had some Thanksgiving, and we were talking to Coach George Bland, Freeman, day before, they were going to face William Fleming, the 8 seed in the Class 5 playoff.
And Godwin was playing too.
Godwin was also playing Matoaka. And we were talking about the potential of a Freeman-Godwin matchup. Well, Godwin lost. Freeman barely lost. It was an epic game.
Well, like 2 points, 1 point.
It came down to overtime.
Yeah.
And Freeman kicked a field goal, and William Fleming on their possession, because each team gets the ball starting at the opponent's 10 in overtime. Yeah. They were able to run in for a touchdown and get the win. And eventually, Matoaka would beat William Fleming. Yeah. I mean, tremendous year for, Coach and Freeman, Coach Bland and Freeman. But he's not even the coach anymore. I don't know if we jinxed him, and he was like, "Forget football. I'm not going to coach football anymore," because he's now the new activities director at Deep Run.
Yeah. Really fascinating.
Like, congratulations to George Bland, new activities director at Deep Run. And I didn't I can see it. I think
I was going to say, when you see the personality, when you see how he speaks, you can definitely see it. It's just that, when you think football coach and, when you kind of got something going there, you never know who's going to jump into that role. But I mean, you can definitely see the makings of a really good, AD. So, I think we hope that goes great. It sounds great for Deep Run, right? Yep. And now Freeman will have to figure out, what's next for them. But I think at the same time, he's left a really nice foundation where I think if they find the right person to follow him, they can really continue what they've been doing. For
their numbers are huge in their football program at Douglas Freeman. There's only about 22, 25 people here at Godwin, student athletes here at Godwin, who are a part of Godwin's competition cheer team. But they were able to bring home a regional championship after coming so close last year, and that's why we're here to talk to head coach Melissa Ellyson and cheerleading captain Chloe Hubbard. So here at Godwin High School, joined by head coach of varsity cheerleading Melissa Ellyson and the cheerleading captain Chloe Hubbard for the competition team, who are regional champions. First of all, thanks for being a part of the Sportswire Spotlight. And second of all, let's get the easy stuff out of the way. How did it feel when you found out you were regional champs?
It was definitely cool. I think, it's hard because our season is short, but it's also, it's every day. It's Monday through Friday. And it was definitely cool because we were so close last year. I mean, we got second place last year, but we still got to go to states, which was an awesome opportunity. But it's just so cool, like actually getting the title and the trophy and everything that comes with it. So that was not cool, but it
sounds pretty cool.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. And being at those, you're huddled and you're waiting, right? And,
yes.
And you're hearing and they go in reverse order, so they're not saying
scores.
number one, right?
You're like, okay, so we have to do better than that. Okay, maybe we did better than that. This is getting closer.
And you're thinking, I don't know if we were that good.
Yes, and then you
we?
just squeeze the people next to you even tighter, and it's like, I'm sorry. But
it's, a lot of people, we know football. We know basketball, baseball, mainstream sports. You get tons of games, tons of opportunities to mess up, tons of opportunities to shine. And Coach, I'll ask you this. I mean, you get basically a couple of minutes of a routine, and it's make or break. There is no second, third chances. I mean, you may get a second chance if you make that top, four, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. So tell me about the mindset from a head coach's perspective of how you can not only get the confidence of your team up to be able to perform, get the nerves out of the way, but also develop what their routine in a way that you're confident that they will perform well.
I think by the time we get to regionals, we have that confidence in them. We've done invitationals along the way to sort of let them get the nerves out, let them feel what the floor feels like, and be ready to go out there. Still, when you get to regionals, that first round is getting nerves out. So it's winning or getting your score high enough that you get to move on, and then kind of rushing into that next round to get ready to perform again. I think with our group, I always feel like after that first round, we are ready. The second round is easy because the first round, we got it all out.
Absolutely. And I think a common misconception is when we go to a football game, it's like the cheerleaders are part of the entertainment, right? We talk about, and we'll get into the difference between sideline cheer and competition cheer. But what the fans don't realize is that you guys are athletes, right? You're competing at a high level in front of a big stage, and my goodness, by the time you get to the Siegel Center, you're performing in front of a lot of people, a ton of people, a huge audience. I think most people, including us, don't really understand what the day-to-day routine is like as you approach the season. So give me kind of a brief overview of what you guys do and how you get to point A to point B, which is hopefully a regional championship, hopefully a state title, right?
Right. So I guess it kind of depends. Like the year before, you'll see the people that tried out and the team that you had. So this year, our coaches know we're losing me, obviously, as a senior and all the other seniors. So it's like, what are we losing and what do we need to gain from our JV competition team, which has come about recently in the past 2 years, which is really helpful. So it's like, what are you losing and what do you need to stay in the successful place that we were in, or maybe higher up at states, or keep our regional title. So then it's like, what do you do from there? Do you have outside, because there's so many sports still going on here at Godwin, like wrestling and gymnastics are in the gym that we practice in right now. So it's like, where are we going to get space? And it's freezing. We can't practice outside.
Well, you
so
could.
It's like,
Kind of dangerous, though.
Would not be fun.
Right. Like the football players do.
Yes.
But so it's like, where do you get the space to practice? And when you need to practice for the off season, and what do you need to do to get where you need to be? And then it's like, do the athletes put in the work outside of school and outside of the off season to do their own things? Because it's an individual sport before it's a team sport. Like, will I keep up my own tumbling and my own strength outside of the season to bring it back to my team, which is always important.
Can you tell, Coach, who has and who hasn't kept up their tumbling, for instance, year in, year out?
That the captaincy for you.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I had a quick question for you, Chloe, and this kind of has to deal with that divide between sideline and competition cheering, which you are a part of both. Yes. That doesn't apply to everyone, right? Some people prefer one or the other, or maybe, I think certain schools maybe make you do both. Here you could choose, but you choose to do both. Yes. Can you kind of describe your history in athletics, the other things you've done that kind of led up to this point of you being a cheerleader, and then maybe, what you get out of those two sides of that coin, and, why you participate in both at such a high level. Obviously, we'll get into more about what you're about to do, but just why you commit so hard to both of them and what kind of got you to this point.
Yeah. So in middle school, I did, which is typically, they don't do competition in middle school. They do just like the sideline, cheer for the football players, cheer for the basketball players. And I did that in middle school, and we don't really do tumbling or anything like that. But throughout middle school, I did tumbling and stunting classes outside of my middle school cheer, which got me to be sort of at the level that I needed to be as a freshman coming into Godwin cheer. And then the summer before my freshman year, I did the out-of-season workouts, which is what we called them at Godwin. And we did like on the football field in the summer with anybody who was interested in trying out, and you could come and we would learn cheers or motions or tumble if we could and stunt if we had the people. But it was really hard because it was the COVID year for my year. So it was like we were in masks or we were 10 feet apart. So it's like the stunting aspect, it wasn't really there, which was really hard. Yes. But then it was like my two sisters were on the team. So it's like, do we stunt together? It was weird. But I did that before I came freshman year. And then I tried out for my freshman year, and we had a football season in March, which was weird. And we wore masks, and we were 10 feet apart on the sideline, and we cheered to parents who were also in masks. So that was really weird. And it was really hard for a lot of people to come back after that because it's like you miss the students and you miss the huge crowds that you're supposed to be cheering to. And we didn't even have a basketball season. So it's like I never got the basketball season that so many people were like, oh my gosh, basketball is the best. Like, it's so much fun. It's so big student-wise. It's so cool. But I had the faith, like, in the small football season that I did get, like, it was so thrilling just being on the sideline and being so close to the football players and having that experience.
Just having a little bit of normalcy back, right?
The little bit of taste that I got. I got a
two-parter for you because, you know, number one, you're the cheer captain, and I'm sure there's a lot goes into earning that honor, and I want to know how you did. And also, you know, you cover a basketball game, you got your point guards, you got your centers, you got your forwards. Everybody has a role.
Right.
Same thing in competition cheerleading. You've got different roles. So for people like Dylan and I and the rest of the audience watching, they're like, what, competition cheerleading roles? What roles are there? And what role do you provide?
Okay, so I'm a flyer. I guess that would be the
So you're the one thrown up in the air at 15 feet high. Okay.
Which is hard because sometimes it's like the flyers are the face. So then it's like our coaches will say right before we go on, like, when you're in the air, flyers, it's up to you. Our performance score is based on you guys. So it's like if you're not smiling, there goes the performance score, which is hard because it's like as a captain, I have to have that face on, and I have to have that face of like, even if I had a bad day at school for the 8 hours that I was at school and I come to practice for those 3 hours, I have to push through for the people that are beside me who maybe also had a bad day.
Let's see the face.
You want to see it? It's like, but like constant. For like the 2 minutes that were up there.
I do that every Sportswire show.
Exactly.
Coach Ellyson, like we've mentioned how, you know, cheerleading is such an interesting sport because it is the combination of this like tremendous athleticism, but there is like an energy and vibe that she has to bring that is just, I don't know where the percentage points are. It's a big part of it, right? That, you know, happy face, that excitement, I think is generally, how do you coach something like that where we mentioned the margins are so slim, right? For failure, right? If you have a scowl on your face, it's as bad as you tripping and falling, right? As a coach, how do you drill those things in to the point where they're not only doing it consistently, they're doing it like perfectly? Because I can't think of a sport, there are very few sports at least where I feel like the margin is so slim that it's basically perfect or bust. It's close to it.
Well, I've never seen a football player being thrown 15 feet in the air. So there's that,
right,
too.
with a smile the whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
We practice what we perform. And I will say the one thing that my Godwin cheerleaders excel in is the spirit. They take everything that they do on the sideline and transfer it right onto the floor when we're competing. And that excitement and that enthusiasm carries the rest of the performance. Where you might be struggling with a stunt, the adrenaline kicks in, the excitement, the performance aspect of it, and just rolls with it. But again, it goes back to we practice what we perform. And how many times I know that they hear me say, nope, give me that smile, give me the, give me that spirit.
So Chloe, how did you become captain though? Did the team vote, or was Coach Ellyson here like, she's it?
So I applied my sophomore year going into my junior year, and there's certain rules, like you have to be on the team for a year, things like that, like grades and withstanding with the school. So I applied my 10th grade year going into my junior year because I was on the team 9th grade and 10th grade year. And then the coaches go through the applications, and maybe they consult with past captains or people who were on the team. Like, do you think this person would be a good fit? Who do you think they would work best with? Do you think that person would be a good fit? And it just comes down to what's best for our team right now, and the people that are on the team, what do they need for everyone to be successful.
But if you become a captain as a sophomore, I can't help but think like it might be a little toxic, might be a little jealousy from the senior. Are there ever those kind of like vibes? And if there are, because I'm sure, we're human beings.
Right,
it happens.
Right, yes.
How do you put that behind you guys as a team and still, because if you're not one out there in that 2.5 minute routine or however long it is, the judges know. You said off camera, off air, that you're a judge yourself. So the judges know. So how do you put that behind you?
Well, I was a captain my junior year, and thankfully I wasn't the first ever junior captain that was chosen over a senior. So it was like navigation-wise, like I had someone to be like, try to stay back in these instances and try to be heavy-footed in these instances. And it was always like if there were things like on senior night or things like where it was like a picture with seniors in the front, like it was like I was fulfilled enough that I had the captain role to be like, this is their moment. And like they have worked so hard on this team for 4 or 3 or 2 years. And like I will get to be in that place. And it's like I said at the beginning, like it's whatever's best for the entire team. And I think everybody knows that, especially in cheerleading. That's a huge, you have to know. Like if you're under a stunt, if you're on top of a stunt, if you're fronting a stunt, which is just as important as any other position, like you pull your own weight and you don't worry about anybody else until you do your job correctly. And it's like, if I can't be a teammate, how am I ever going to be a captain?
Well said. Although you will have to do some explaining on some of the nomenclature, like fronting a stunt. I'm trying to picture.
I'll help you. It's okay.
Every routine is different. When I've gone to, you do what you can do. So that being said, for you to score high marks and to win in regionals, there has to be degree of difficulty is part of the scoring process, correct? Mm-hmm. So that being said, and I'll ask you guys both this, what do you think was the toughest part of your routine?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it depends. So like obviously the beginning routine that we have the day of choreography is totally different than that routine that we performed at States. Whether the difficulty went up or the difficulty went down with injury or strength building, like you have no idea. And stunt groups will change every day. My stunt group changed, the people that I'm with that would be underneath me.
That catch you.
Correct.
Right.
Changed 2 weeks before regionals, and then it went right back the week before States.
That would scare the heck out of me. If I'm going to be thrown in the air, I want people that I know are going to catch me.
And it's like, you have to have that trust in everyone. But yeah, it's like the difficulty is huge on the score sheet. And I think the most difficult part would probably be pyramid, which is typically at the end of our routine. Mm-hmm. So it's like the aspect of we've done a whole minute 30 of this and we still have a dance after this that we have to make huge. That's where the face comes in for everyone, not just the flyers. And so pyramid is really hard, especially because it's at the end, but also because it's more than just your own stunt group now. It's like I have to be able to depend on this person because she's holding me up too. And if she falls and we're connected, I could fall. And it's like you can't place that blame.
It's a domino effect.
Exactly.
Coach, in your eyes, what do you think? Because you're seeing it from a different perspective. Mm-hmm. They're performing it.
The routine is made up of 2 parts, the cheer part and the music part. The music part's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Hands down. And that's where the hard stunting comes in. The tumbling comes in, as she said, the pyramid comes in, doing those skills that you are so reliant either on your individual group or on the groups around you. One person misses a foot and things don't go the way you want them to go. In the pyramid, if the connection of hands doesn't happen at the right time, then it's a deduction. So making sure that all those pieces and parts work together as the music goes, as the the routine keeps on, and you can't stop.
And I had another question that either of y'all can answer based on your experience as a coach, your experience as an athlete. In those moments where something goes wrong, right? Either you aren't caught the right way,
right?
Someone trips somewhere, when that disaster moment strikes, either as a performer or as a coach, do you have any experiences like that you can share, and kind of what happens in those moments and how you, within seconds, are able to move on and finish? Because I think that's equally as important, right? If something goes wrong, it can't ruin the next thing that happens in 2 seconds, right?
Which is hard, because I feel like you can't say many other sports are like that.
Exactly. That's why,
Like, it's interesting in football, you get tackled and it's like, well, there's another play.
Yeah, I tripped in a second down.
Exactly.
They take a timeout. You're taken off the field. If you roll your ankle, during a routine and competition, you still look like this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm happy.
Right.
And I'm in real pain.
Right. I think it's just, you look at either the crowd and they are like, or the judges, or the people around you. And it's like, I have to do this. I have to get back up, and I have to make it look like nothing happened. And it's like, we've had that at competitions where maybe judges don't even know, or maybe you make it look so good that you're fine. And it's just the fake it till you make it. I say that to everyone, especially as a flyer, fake it till you make it and you'll make it.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead. No, but I wanted to mention the judges though, because I've seen they're people too. So, but I've seen the bubbly judges like, yay, here they come.
There's always the ones that can't. They have to break
and then
a
I've
smile.
seen and then I see the ones that are looking at you like this.
Oh yeah, constant. And those are the hardest ones to cheer to. I'm like, I have to look at someone else. Sorry,
Coach. Which type of judge are you?
Exactly. You're definitely that one.
Are you the
stern?
You're not the bubbly one. You're the stern one. That would freak me out. I mean,
it's not on purpose though. It's that you just get so focused.
So in the zone.
I have a specific thing that I'm judging, and I'm looking to make sure that I don't miss that for that team.
Yeah.
So I might forget the smile.
I can't.
Okay,
though.
you're not being judged in that moment,
Exactly.
so that's all fair. We wanted to ask, we learned, we talked about the region championship, but your sideline cheer team, you actually have some action left. Can you kind of describe? Sounds like a national championship that you're going to be competing for, or something in that ballpark. Can you kind of describe what's going on there?
So, like Coach Melissa was saying earlier, we have a lot of spirit, and that's something that we heavily rely on our score sheet. So that kind of took us to a new event that we could compete in, and we're really excited about it. We're going to UCA Game Day in February, which is in Florida.
Very nice.
And we're really, really excited. So we took some of our competition team that won regionals, and we're taking some of our varsity sideline team. So we're kind of mixing it, because we will
sideline activity.
Right. We will stunt and tumble, but it's very less. It's a lot less. It's more crowd engagement and engaging with the judges and stuff like that, which will really help our spirit levels and things like that. So we do stunt and we do tumble, but it's a lot less. And we do a band dance, and we do a cheer, and then we do a situational cheer. So like in football, it would be an offense or defense situation. So we would do a cheer kind of like that. It has a lot of signs, a lot of props, a lot of flags to really draw in that crowd engagement. So we're really, really excited for that.
And I assume when you get to the national level, there are a lot of teams involved. So what's the right way in cheerleading to talk trash to another team?
Never.
You smile
We don't do
way
that.
wider.
Yeah, that's a part on the score sheet too, which is really hard. It's really hard, but it's a different level. There's a different vibe almost at competitions. Like, it's like when the judges are doing their scoring and we're all like dancing together and like on the mat together. It's like, it won't even matter in 5 minutes when you say that this team beat us. We're just having fun right now. And these are the people that we've been practicing with for so long. And that team, maybe they deserved it on that day. And that's okay.
That's a great outlook. I do want to play a game though, because this is about how well do you know cheerleading? And it's going to be you versus Dylan, and that's why I have this. Dylan wasn't prepared for this.
Okay, here
so
we go.
we try to do this.
By design.
So I printed out,
Okay.
and these may not be accurate.
That's okay.
There's like 130 cheerleading terms, and I know there's probably more. So I'm going to ask you, and then I'll ask Dylan what he thinks it is, whoever's closest gets the
Well,
ding.
should I go first? Because I'm going to be the one.
Sure, you
want to
go first here?
And then you're going to be the one that's correct.
This is going to be random. This is number 31, according to 130 plus cheerleading terms to know.
Okay.
Dylan, what is a chin-chin?
A chin-chin, obviously, is when you are being raised by your teammates and you kind of tuck your chin back so that your face is square toward the crowd.
That's actually pretty close.
I love that.
It's actually a stunting body position, so you're close, in which the flyer, Chloe, brings one leg up and hooks her foot under her chin. Now, Dylan, can you perform that for us?
No.
No.
I was also not close.
All right, here we go.
Although I guess you're raised in the air. I guess I got that one part.
No, you got. I mean, you were on the right track. All right, Chloe's turn. How about 63? Herky. What is a herky?
A type of jump. So we do jumps. There's toe touches, pikes, hurdler, and then a herky to the left or to the right.
Okay, jump where one leg extends to the side. So that'd be the left or the right.
Right, and the back one is bent.
Yep, with the knee pointing down. That's good enough for me.
Woo!
Winner. Moving on.
Thank God for this bell.
This one here, I'll give you an easy one, Dylan. Scorpion.
Think about the animal. You can do it.
Scorpion.
That's just a help.
Sorry.
Yes,
Is it
Helping the competition.
There
This
will
is what
be
we
prizes.
do at competitions.
So it has to be something. Are your like legs raised over your head? Like, are you going like, or is someone raising it over your head? I don't know. That's the best I got.
No,
I'm trying to think of the stinger of the scorpion.
Right.
So according to this, it's a stunt body position where the flyer, again, Chloe would be helping you.
Yeah.
Would grab one foot with one or both hands, extend it directly behind her, lifting the foot as high as possible. And the stunt group
So it
should
kinda looks
face
like
the side.
Is it kind of like the figure skating?
Yes,
Yes.
it's a lot
Okay.
like that.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
So
what I
it
was
looks
thinking.
like you know what? I'm giving you half a point for that.
I love
you were
that.
close. I think he was close.
The names are good. If you can kind of figure it out,
Right.
that means they're good names.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do
Exactly.
just a couple more here. Oh, here's one. Touchdown. And no, it's not football. What is a touchdown?
Oh, okay. I was like, a
points.
touchdown is a motion. It's like this.
Yes,
this
it
is a
is.
touchdown.
I mean, that's basically it. You put your arms up. I
Yep.
gave her the really easy one.
Yeah.
I'll give you an easier one. X out.
X out.
Dylan, X out.
Is that the thing at the end where you kind of just, is that the last pose you do? It starts with an X.
That was for you.
Oh, thank
A
you.
flip in which the athlete begins. Well, what position do you begin in?
I was just thinking them stand like at the end, them lined up and just, that's their last pose and it's an X. Or they're
Okay.
like coming out.
So
Like
that's close, but you begin in a tuck position.
Okay.
All right. And then you spread the arms and legs, and then yes, you do make the X.
okay, so that's not too bad. I
And
feel like I'm doing all right.
It can be
Yeah.
performed as a tumbling skill or a basket
Typically in a
toss.
basket, right? But we don't do flipping baskets.
What is a basket?
A basket is like when the flyer would stand, so you would create it kind of like this, and the flyer would stand, and then you throw.
Okay.
Yeah. So they
Got
would
it.
flip and do their X, and then go
This
out.
is just like a crash
All right.
course for us at this
Last
There you go.
This is
last
great.
one. Oh. Okay. How about a chair sit, Dylan? Chair sit.
point.
And this is, I'll give you a hint. This involves a partner as well.
Yeah.
So
I
you
can't
think
think
you
of-
know what it means to be a cheerleader. This is what this is.
Is it someone that's like the person is being balanced by other people and then they're holding up the other person?
Kind of. So, all right.
I'm imagining
There
them
is-
sitting
there
on
is-
a throne of a person.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that person.
You're. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to ding you. Chair sit. Yeah, partner stump where the flyer is in a Liberty style position.
which is like
Right.
one leg.
That's another
like
Well,
a
the-
flamingo almost.
So the base has a hand under her seat and the other hand supporting the lower ankle.
That's typically co-ed. Co-ed does that a lot these days. Yeah. So
Guys
like a
on the team.
guy.
Are there any guys on your team?
No.
Okay, all
No,
girls.
but we're ready for them.
Yes.
Some
Come
of
on
the,
down.
Some of the best teams I've seen
The team that won states this year, they
had guys.
Yes.
Who was that?
Briarwoods in Northern Virginia. They had guys.
There you go.
Yeah.
Briarwoods.
Good way to get a college scholarship too. I know about that.
Oh,
With
yeah.
JMU, those guys
Yes.
got some nice scholarships. So
Yeah.
We'll end with this one. Helicopter. Dylan, go.
I get all the questions.
Yeah.
That's just got to be being. Are you spun around like this, or is your entire? I feel like it's got to just be like being spun around, like while you're being held by your feet or something.
It's close enough. I mean, the flyer's tossed in a prone position. I don't know what that is.
Just like their stomach.
Okay.
That was the other thing.
And you are rotated
like,
on an axis
I was
before
like,
being caught
is that
again.
too ridiculous that
No.
someone would be like laying down and like, no, you guys
There's
are
another
actually just
term
good
for
enough
that
to do
one.
that. Yeah.
What's the other term for helicopter?
Well, it's not helicopter, but if you're standing up and turning,
And then being
it's a
turned.
full around.
Okay, so that's actually okay. Yeah, I think that's the best I've done so far.
A full out, and that's number 58. There it is, full out. All right, so anyway,
know
there's
it was number
130 of
58.
these. We can't do all of them.
That
That was kind of fun, though. But
Yeah.
so how many of these 130? Well, of course, you didn't hear them all.
Right.
But you know so many of them that obviously they're a big part of your routine.
Right.
As a senior now, and as a cheer captain, what are your plans moving forward?
I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Obviously, I want to continue, hopefully, my cheer career. But we'll see. Obviously, the school aspect of it would come first. Like, I would want to be at a place that I would want to do school there before I would want to cheer there. And that's really important in me for a coach to think the same things as well.
And would you still continue both of those, or when the college ranks, is that split, like as far as competition versus sideline? Do you have any
Yeah, it's definitely
allegiance there?
different.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Like schools around us, like Virginia Tech, they
Yeah.
have an all-girl competition team, and then their
Right.
sideline team is only co-ed.
Gotcha.
So that would be different. You'd have to make a choice on that, and you'd have to make a choice on all-girl or co-ed, and then competition and game day.
So you're open to both, if
Right,
depending on
yeah.
the situation.
Yeah, but I think I would definitely love sideline more, just because I love like the crowd engagement
Yeah.
of that, and
Especially, like, a big-
competition.
yeah.
Competition in
imagine.
college is a lot different. It's not really like the competition here in high school, but it's just a little bit different.
Last one for you, Coach. And this is a tough question because every group brings, I'm sure, a different energy, kind of a different attitude, maybe even. But you saw this team this year win regionals and attempt to win at states and just fall short. What do you think they need to do next year to go over that next hump and actually bring home a state title?
That is a hard one.
It's a loaded one.
It's a little loaded, like a baked
the off
potato.
season.
Question.
It's and one of the things we ask at the end of the season, we ask every girl that's coming back to say, what can you do that you didn't do this year? What can you work on in the off season? So they all will have that goal of what they want to try to work on. As a team, let's just throw it out there. We want more tumbling.
Yeah.
We've been really strong in tumbling until the last couple of years, and we've seen a little bit of a downslide. So we're going to focus a little bit on that.
Up the ante.
Also, Godwin guys, the state
Now's the
champion
time.
had guys that
Yep, there you
really
go.
performed, and Briarwoods won because you guys aren't on the Godwin cheer team. So just saying, not saying, just saying.
My first year at Godwin, we had a guy on the team, and he brought a whole different kind of excitement to the sideline, and we'd love to have that again.
We need the shot putters. We need
Yeah.
the strength in there.
I don't know, pole
Put 'em over
vaulters
the
probably,
top.
yeah.
That'll be
Wrestlers.
exciting.
Wrestlers, yeah. Flexibility.
Train for the winter.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Why not? Why not? Guys, I appreciate you being part of the Sportswire Spotlight today.
Thank
it was
you.
a joy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That was a really exciting episode. Will, I'm glad that you got to grill me on my terminology. I got like
You got
a
half
point,
of 'em.
point and a half. Like I think I was in the ballpark on at least a couple of them, especially the last one. I think I'm giving myself quite a bit of credit on. So
the nice things on some of those terms is that you can get partial credit because it's like a complex set of movements.
yeah, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, you did okay. I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have done any better. Put it that way.
The fact that Chloe can actually do those things is probably the more impressive feat. So
The fact that she actually would want to me is even more impressive
It's
because
unbelievable.
I would not want to be thrown. I know I said it a couple times while we were talking to them, but I would not want to be thrown into the air and then not know if people are going to catch me on the bottom end of that. It's just like when I ran track in high school, there was this guy that was just crazy, but he had to be a pole vaulter because who wants to pole vault 25 feet up into the air
That's scary,
and
man.
hope that you land correctly, because if you don't, there's going to be a problem.
there's going to be a lot of problems. And but I mean, I think those types of performances that Chloe and her team have to put on, I mean, we talked about the practice and the perfection, right, that goes into that. And, you know, a coach like that, you have to have everything hit the right marks, and, you know, you have to have that dedication. So it was really cool hearing from them about the little things that we don't think about, the behind the scenes of how hard they have to work, how many different people have to kind of come together to make something like that happen. Because like I said, there's parallels, right? When a blocker is moving in football, you know, you have to have a lot of pieces in motion,
a lot of moving parts. Yeah,
like I said, the stakes and the margin for error are so small in cheerleading, and it's really cool to hear how they process that and how they see that and how they feel that in the moment.
Well, definitely, it's a celebration. It's not just a celebration of what they were able to do, winning a regional title, but it's also a heads up to people who don't realize what their day-to-day life is like, the work that they put in, getting up early in the morning, finding time in that gym, having off-season, another parallel to football, having off-season conditioning, tumbling, stunts, all those things, and then 2.5 minutes to prove your season, right? I mean, I know that Coach was talking about, you know, they go to a couple other events to kind of get the nerves out and stuff like that, but yeah, everybody, they work really hard, and it's not easy what they do. So congrats to Godwin and for their sideline cheerleading team going to nationals.
Yeah, and they got got about a month and a half to prepare for that. So I'm sure Coach will have them ready to go. It sounds like a interesting kind of hybrid between the two. You know, it's basically the sideline cheering with a little more, you know, acrobatics, which sounds really exciting. And you know, Captain over here, you know, I think she was definitely prepared for both ends of that with the energy she brought here, and, you know, how talented she obviously is. So, you know, we wish them luck in all the preparation.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we have, you know, good news about their results in February or whenever that is.
I'm kind of surprised they can't talk smack to the other team, but it is what it is.
Like I said, you just smile brighter than the next person. That's as good as you're gonna get.
Even if you mess up, you smile.
Yeah.
I mean, that in itself is pretty crazy too.
It takes a lot of. I cannot imagine. Like, imagine every time you messed up something, you just got to have that same face ready to go, so it looks like nothing happened. You know, I'm sure she has messed up something 100 times and no one's ever seen it because she trained her face to do the right thing.
Can you imagine trying to apply that in real life?
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine if you deleted your file off your computer and then you walked into our boss's office with a smile on your face.
My show's gone. Yeah, all my media is gone. We didn't even record this thing. We have to do it again. And that's not the only thing coming down on the pipeline. Yes. Now that football is over, obviously this is cheerleading for the most part, except for nationals for sideline. You know, the big one is basketball. Obviously, you got gymnastics, you got wrestling coming up, but basketball's already hitting its stride. And it gets weird because you get that strange winter break we're about to jump into.
Winter's an interesting time because you get that first 3-4 weeks maybe.
Yeah, you get
action.
A couple of weeks. You get 2 or 3 weeks in.
Like, I know indoor track has gotten some meets in and stuff like that. Then you hit that lull, and so then things will kind of. There's those holiday tournaments, so basketball kind of gets going a little bit.
Still goes a little.
Wrestling gets a little bit, but then. Once, I feel like the first week of January, it goes like full throttle, you know, because as soon as they're back in school, it's like meets, games, matches constantly.
There are some teams already standing out though, and there was actually a couple of big games played right here at the Eagles Nest, like I don't know, 50 feet over there, in the gym. Glen Allen, Godwin, both girls teams are very good. That was a 2-point finish. Glen Allen getting the win on the road, and the Glen Allen guys, they go in. I have to double check to see if they have another game before the break. I'm pretty sure they do this coming Friday. But if they win that, they'd be 7-0. But as of this recording, they started off the season 6-0. All you can do is beat who you beat. They beat some good teams along the way, including Godwin, and then Tuesday night I went to Verina, defending 2-time in a row, defending state champs. KJ Weish is back, and now he brings in his little brother, Caleb Weish, who, if you remember, he was the quarterback from JV who took over in the Highland Springs game and just threw 3 touchdown passes against the Springers.
We know he's got some juice.
Yes, and the kid's talented with a basketball too, and they've they've got some weapons, that team. Malachi Cosby's another one on that team. I can go on and on with the names, but that is definitely another legit team. If I'm someone else, I would not want to play Varina because Patrick Henry's good. They beat a really good deep run team who happened to beat Highland Springs. Now, Highland Springs will have some of their football players back on the team, and that'll change some things. They look good on the ladies' side. Brianna Robinson is a name to remember at Hermitage. Go watch a Hermitage girls game this year, a varsity girls game. Watch that girl play. She might average, well, first of all, she always gets double-digit score. I mean, and it's usually 20 to 30 points. But she might also get double-doubles with steals. I mean, because she averages almost, it looks like she gets 10 steals a game. Either way, it's always a steal and a score, too. So it's a complete momentum changer. Hermitage might be sneaky good. So that's...
When you have a player like that, you can never count them out. Like, I remember seeing... this is, Chesterfield, but Megan Walker, the days of her at Monacan. And, Monacan had a lot of great players. But when you have one star like that and, games on the line or, seasons on the line, it pops, And when you have someone that talented, it can go a long, long way, even, just with a solid team around her. So I'm really excited to see what the Panthers are up to.
Yeah, and speaking of talent, regardless on the girls' side, you're going to have to get – Thomas Dale's really good. Yeah. But in terms of Henrico – good luck beating Highland Springs. I mean, they still press you. They still turn you over. Thing. They still score off of defense. They make it a nightmare. I would not want to coach against Franklin Harris's team. I would not want to go against them. They are truly a legit title contender once again, as they normally are. And again, moving up to Class 6. And by the way, if you go to a basketball game, there's some rule changes. Like there's a few rule changes when it comes to fouls. So it used to be once you get to 17 fouls, you shoot a 1-and-1. You make the first shot, you get a second one, right? Or if you miss it, it's a live ball rebound situation. Now they just go to 5, and it's automatically into the double bonus at 5 fouls. So teams, what I've noticed so far, I don't know if it's going to work this way, but what I've noticed so far is the pace of the game is speeding up. Because teams don't want to foul. Yeah. Because once you get to 5, the other team gets 2 shots. Now, they do reset every quarter instead of by half. Yeah. But every team gets 2 shots once it's at 5. And you can pick up 5 fouls in a hurry. I mean, it's not hard to get 5 fouls on you. So as a team, anyway. So that'll be interesting. And obviously, in the upcoming Sports Wires, we'll delve deeper into wrestling, see who the top wrestlers are. Already covered one of the gymnastics meets. There's some really talented gymnasts in our county and in our area, and there's it's indoor track season, right?
It'll be indoor once we get to January. Until then, they're kind of roughing it outside the rest of the time. But I mean I think I checked quickly before our show today.
Right.
We currently have 3, or Henrico currently has 3 girls who are at the top of their events. That's at Tucker, Glen Allen, and Highland Springs. So that'll be worth monitoring. These kind of standout athletes at these places. We'll probably end up checking in with some of these at some point. And then swimming is currently underway too. I don't know if we got to mention it last time, but Highland Springs has their inaugural swim team competing right now. They got 16 or so.
They got a good sized team for their first,
really good
first team. So congratulations to the Springers. So we'll be monitoring that very closely. But lots going on. We hope that all of you have a great holiday season. I know I'm going to, or try to anyway. But until then, you'll see us somewhere else. For Dylan Garner, I'm Will Kaderli. Thanks for being a part of the Sportswire Spotlight.